Hey, what's going on, everyone? Sly here with Flo. So, Flo, we're listening to Nightcap. Funny ass name. And if you know, you know. With Shannon
Shay
Sharpe,
Shay.
Shay, and Chad Ochocinco. And they actually talked about the field, which when I heard that, I was like, all right, I was all ears. And I love what Shannon Sharpe said about this whole situation. Let's check this out real quick, and then we'll talk about it.
49ers believe practice field is giving them an unfair advantage. The 49ers are trying to figure out where they'll practice this week after finding the surface at UNLV far softer than they expected. The university has a pair of artificial surface fields that last week were overlaid with natural grass. But because there's no surface placed between the artificial turf and the new sod, the fields had a sponge-like feel. The Athletic wrote the 49ers were so unhappy that they initially considered flying back from Vegas following Monday night's media event and practicing in Santa Clara before the game, but have since backed off that plan. Tonight, Roger Goodell, Commissioner Goodell, maintained that the NFL has deemed the field playable despite the 49ers' concern.
Yeah.
First of all, guess what? NFL officials, you're not playing.
Yes, sir.
Y'all don't put no cleats on. So just because you say, oh, it's playable, what about the players? What about the coaches that's going to be on there and are expecting a certain type of surface in order to be able to practice on? Now, we don't want to use that as an excuse, but I think in a situation like this, Ocho, you want to make sure both teams are at their best. And the last thing you want is the one team to feel like we have an unfair advantage because the surface that we're practicing on is not adequate or is not appropriate or as it could close as to the surface that we're going to be playing on come Sunday. So hopefully everybody gets this thing worked out and the 49ers says, you know what? Hey, it is what it is. Let's go make the best of it. But I just don't like the fact that the commissioner just came out and said they have deemed it. Well, so let me ask you a question. Who put on cleats and went out there and tested it?
Right. I mean, listen, it's obviously it's unfortunate. I think about how you and I grew up, I think about the playing surfaces that we had to deal with. I think about the playing surfaces that I had to deal with playing throw-up tackle at Charles Hadley Park, playing throw-up tackle at Moore Park down in Liberty City. And to think about how happy I was to play on those surfaces with holes and divots and all type of sprinkler heads coming up. And obviously, I know you expect once you make it to the highest level, you want everything to be perfect. At sometimes, any little inconvenience, oh, it's an issue, or the playing surface is too small, or just like I get it. Obviously, it's a Super Bowl, so I don't think it's an unfair advantage. Now, mind you, now we've been playing football for 19 weeks. Playing the game of football for 19 weeks now. We're grown men, and at the smallest inconvenience, we can't let the smallest thing be inconvenience. We know what to do. We know we're going to be playing on Bermuda grass that is very fast when it comes to game time. And a little inconvenience with the surface not being what you're used to it being shouldn't be that much of an inconvenience when you want to think about flying back home, as opposed to going out there and practicing.
Let me ask you a question.
Now. That's just me. Now, everybody else might be different. That's just me and my thought process when it comes to it, based on where I came from and what I grew up having to do. Something like the field being a little different than what I'm used to wouldn't inconvenience me when I know the work I got to get in as far as coming preparing for a game.
Let's just say, for the sake of argument,
you were the Bengals,
nitpicking, and all of a sudden I understand that you grew up playing on those fields, and all of a sudden the Bengals had to go play on that field. You okay with that? You dodging sprinkler heads, divots, bottles.
I see where you're going, but that's very dramatic.
What did you just say? How you grew up playing on the sprinkler heads and dodging those?
I'm gonna say concrete, all that stuff, but I'm saying even though it's at the highest level, it isn't that much of inconvenience because the field is a little soft. Like, come on now.
Let me ask you a
Everything
question.
can't be
Why
perfect.
did you celebrate? Because in your mind, it gave you advantage. You needed to be Ocho. You wore your uniform a certain way. And when the NFL told you to change your uniform, what did you say, Ocho? Why did you say no, Ocho? It ain't nothing but a little minor inconvenience.
Because
all it did was ask you to tuck your jersey.
Yeah.
All they did was ask you to put the towel on one side, not the other. What they asked you to pull your socks up. So why was that such a problem for you?
Because when you look good, you play good, and I wanted to dress the same way I dressed when I was a little shorty. and I wasn't changing that no matter how much money you took from me, because that's
Oh,
not what
so
I
in other
value.
words, the 49ers wanting to be practicing on the field that's going to be similar to what they played on is asking a bit too much.
Right. A small example on how I feel about it. I don't care if they had my black ass out there on motherfucking ice. I'm finna go
But
practice
I'm
and be
just
ready
trying
for
to say,
goddamn
but you
Sunday.
wasn't willing to do that with your uniform, but you expect them to be able to do that at the Super Bowl. This wasn't the Super Bowl. They said, Ocho, we need you to correct your uniform. They asked you to do this for a regular game or a preseason game. And your mind wouldn't allow you to do that because you didn't feel if you changed anything about your uniform, you couldn't be Ocho.
Right. That's exactly how I felt, and I understand where you're going with it, but I think that's apples and oranges. It's
Have
kind
you
of
ever seen a
different.
fruit basket?
It's kind of
Have you ever seen a fruit basket?
Huh?
They put apples and oranges in there, and
Yeah.
pears too sometimes, and some
Yeah.
grapes.
Yeah.
All right, man. So 100% I agree with Shannon Sharpe there. I don't want to come out and sound like a complainer because, dude, honestly, this is bullshit, man. It's absolutely baloney that this field is such crap. And then we heard today about the whole situation where the Chiefs said they're not going to work with the 49ers. Basically, they said, screw you. We're not going to work around your schedule and you're on your own. So, Chiefs, they're practicing in their indoor grass facility and we're outside in the rain, where it's basically you have turf and then they slap grass on it and they thought that's going to work. So what do you think about Shannon Sharpe pretty much saying, you know what, this is bullshit, and then kind of Chad saying, oh no, there's nothing wrong with it, even though that fool would cry because he didn't get his uniform the way he wanted it during games. So that's absolutely what a fucking hypocrite there. But what do you think, man?
Yeah, man. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of that scene from The Longest Yard. You know where the warden he like floods the football field so they can't practice. That's exactly what this reminds me of. I'm not gonna say that like some conspiracy stuff, but man, this is a bad look for the NFL. This is the biggest game of the season. You want both teams to be entering this game at their peaks, you know, and having shitty practices is gonna make the performance of one of the teams worse, you know. Obviously, we got the bad break apparently, but I don't know, especially because they had a whole year to figure this out. You know, I heard that they just started working on our field,
a week ago.
A week ago. It's like, what the heck is going on, man? I understand that UNLV is a little bit separate, but still, man, you got to prep for this way in advance. And Shay is right, man. You don't want to. This is a bad look because it's going to affect your product at the end of the day. It's going to be horrible. And Chad Ochocinco, like you said, hypocrite. This is a guy who complained about the toweling. If he didn't have the proper toweling, he would be pissed at his equipment managers. So how is he going to go out and say that the field doesn't matter just because he grew up playing on a field with potholes or sprinklers? Who cares? That's freaking youth football league. You expect that. This is the NFL. It's a completely different. It's apples to oranges. You know, it makes no sense at all. So I like what Shay said. That's my boy. So I like that. What do you think, man?
Absolutely, man. Chad Johnson didn't make sense at all, man. Just because even about the whole name tag, he would always cry about that, and it's a not fun league, all this stuff, and then you're like, oh no, this is fine though. Like, no, man. Shannon Sharpe, 100% right, man. They were talking actually about going back to Levi Stadium to practice, go back to practice over there, you know, just because this is absolutely baloney. But if I'm the 49ers, I'm definitely using this as bulletin board material. I'm using this disadvantage that we have as an advantage because I'm straight up saying, dude, they want this team to win. They want Taylor Swift to get out, be proposed by Travis Kelce after the game. Definitely trying to screw us over with this damn field that's going on. They give them the best hotel right on the strip, so they get to practice 5 minutes away from the practice facility. We have these guys, Niners have to drive. Maybe they have to ride 30 minutes away to get to that damn practice facility, which is a piece of crap. And then last week I saw on TikTok a guy that was showing the hotels of where these guys are staying at, and the Chiefs are staying at the best hotel out there. They're like, it was looking at it, it was like completely different from the Niners hotel, which is nice and all, but it's nothing like where the Chiefs are staying at. So everything right now seems to going not our way, but we can use this as an advantage. And no matter what happens, if we lose this game, no one's going to give a damn. No one's going to care. Oh, you're crying about. No, we have to win this game and use this as an advantage, you know, just to be like, it's us versus them. It's us versus the NFL. It's us versus the Swifties. It's that's what it is pretty much. And the fact that this happened with a billion dollar company in the NFL and they can't get this right, it's absolutely ridiculous, So hopefully, just go for it. Whatever happens. Go practice, do your thing. You're gonna be in the rain on a crappy field, but dude, just like you said, the longest yard. I know it ain't a movie, but you got to use this as motivation, man. They have everything. This kind of reminds me actually of, have you ever seen the movie Rocky 4? Rocky 4, where they got Drago. He's out there practicing in the best facilities ever, the best equipment. He's doing his thing. He's even shooting up, getting his PEDs in. Rocky's the old school, out in the snow, out there running, baby, doing everything, in the elements pretty much, in the cold. And what happens? You work to his advantage, man. So if I'm the 49ers right now, screw the NFL. It's us versus them. Let's go out, win the Super Bowl, and say, screw you, Roger Goodell.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. He just brought up Rocky 4. I was about to bring up Rocky 3, where Apollo takes him to the old kind of like gym. Mm-hmm. He's like, look at these guys, man. They got the eye of the tiger. That's what we need. We need to get this eye of the tiger just to bring it to them because, like you said, all the freaking chips seem like it's in their hands right now because the NFL seems to be giving them this. And, man, the media has been hating. They're like, the Niners are complaining. You got to understand, the last couple of years, we've dealt with injuries because of bad field conditions. Yep. When we played, the Jets and the Giants back-to-back weeks, we felt like we lost half our team. Yeah. So it's not like we're strangers to bad field conditions. So having our guys practice on this before, because you don't want an injury right before the big game, and that's a potential on playing on a freaking on loose sod or whatever the hell it is under there, because you might not get your footing right while you're going full speed, and you got to practice at full speed. It's not like you can go out there and half-ass your practice. If you do, you're gonna lose. I know Allen Iverson said it's just practice. We're not talking about a game, practice, but that's why Allen Iverson didn't win that chip, because he didn't practice at 100%.
And yeah, guys, the greats out there from Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, man, those guys were heated practices. They would always go out. Even the Niners, their last Super Bowl with Jerry Rice and them, those guys, they said they were going all at it. And I was even listening to a podcast with Mark Schlereth this morning. He was talking about before the 91 Super Bowl with the Washington Redskins, they were going full contact, all hands on deck, like just going at it with each other, offense and defense. And John Madden was there, and John Madden went up to him like, dude, you're going to kick the Bills' ass. Like, you guys are going crazy. And that, unfortunately, it's not going to be, it's not going to be the same. We're not going to obviously be able to go full contact and do our thing because it's damn sod and whatever the hell they're playing on. And it makes a difference, man. It really does, man. Like you said about the injuries and all that. But no matter what, man, at the end of the day, there's going to be no excuses. Like, it's as much as it sucks, we have every disadvantage right now. The only thing we could use is use this as motivation. And at the end of the day, get the job done, man, because I'm not going to say anything. Even after that Super Bowl in 2020, I know a lot of people were talking about the holding calls, and yes, I agree, but I was talking about what we should have done. That's what, at the end of the day, that's what the most everyone's going to say. And hopefully, man, we find a way to get it done despite the elements. Screw the Chiefs, and let's get this win, man.
All right, well, you guys let us know in the comments what you guys think about Shay's take. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. See y'all next time.
Peace.